just, just try to go through my idea of a review process. So I'm going to start up this thing. I just browsed the page again. I'm trying to see what kind of stuck out to me. That's loud. Oh no, no, I didn't mean to start your game. Okay, that was already an immediate issue, wasn't it? Let's try pressing play again. So, mouse doesn't work. If I press left click, it selects new game. Ah, I'm just good. Can I use my controller? Please. That's loud. So not much in the way of options here. UI is kind of plain. Okay, so that's good enough. Jeez, that was a really loud intro. And I don't think the mouse works properly. Yeah. So I should not be using the mouse for that. So like I was just browsing, just scrolling through that Steam Next Fest page again. I was like, okay, let's see if there's anything else that pops out of me. And this one did, because it's a Japanese educational game, but it's based around Romaji. And, and I was curious enough to look it up, because, teaching Japanese with Romaji is not a good idea. Oh yeah, I will say that this game is actually running in 480 windowed for me for some reason, so I might actually press F4, which is a terrible button to use, but let's just press that. And it looks like it's just a straight up scale up. Like the texture quality actually has not improved here. Oh great, I just pressed left click again. Okay, never mind. It's in 1875. You arrive at a turbulent time. He declared that there would be war if Japan didn't end its centuries of isolation. It's the beginning of the Edo period. In 100s of years. I think there needs to be a little bit of editing here. Foreign people are still not given the provision to travel the entirety of Japan. So that is something you must earn through learning the Japanese language and culture. Before you arrive, the Emperor regains his dominion over the help of England, America, and Russia. And now the samurai are transforming into a new class of political leaders, yada yada yada. There is resistance to the new acceptance of foreign people, or as they are known in Japan, the Gaijin. These days, I believe Gaijin is actually a bit of a slur, and it's a bit more polite and politically correct, I suppose, to say Gaikokujin, because Gaijin just means outside person, Gai and Jin, outside person, while Gaikokujin, Koku is country, so Gaikokujin is a bit more polite because you are not just an outsider, you are someone from another country. Small minor difference. And the nemesis, okay, that should be an E. Nemesis? Yeah, okay. So I saw some screenshots of this, and I'm just looking at it straight away. It's like, this straight up just looks like a PS1 game. And it's like, oh wow, how does this look like a PS1 game so well? It just managed to evoke that feeling. Oh, I'm pressing circle to... Whoa, what's that? First person view? I just pressed triangle, it's first... That's weird. Jejima War. You've got Harry, Haley, Dan, and Oliver. I'm pretty sure this game is in a pretty early state. But this is also apparently a remake. Like, that's why it's called Romaji Adventure 3D instead of just Romaji Adventure. And there's also, like, I tried pressing, like, the circle button extensively to open, to run, but it's like, it just opened the menu. Look at what config does. Okay, so no key bindings. Still the same. Locked. So this is apparently some kind of educational game that teaches you basic words. I looked it up and I was like really wondering why they want to use Romaji. But I didn't really find out why they wanted to use Romaji. I just learned that this is meant to like teach you. It's meant to be like a learning aid to get you up to JLPT N5, which is about 600 words of vocabulary. You got the bonus treasure box, only available in demo. I don't know what that is. Pretty much just an RPG. Okay. Onigiri, Sage Rods, Ice Sword. Dejima Wolf. Meow. That's a save point? Okay. So cats are save points. A couple of things you should know about. Basics of the land. The point is that in each city there's an activity to do in every building. This does not include shrines. As you progress... there really needs to be a bit of copy editing here. As you progress, you will find that your Japanese develops and become more accustomed to navigating this world. The reason that you cannot just go to any city is a historical one. During this formidable time in history, Japan is easily expanding foreigners. Ergo, you cannot simply go to a region without permission. The next city from here is accessible once all the challenges are complete, and you should also have by that time visited the tower on this island. You need to use the checkpoint building situated behind me. Additionally, when you have completed that city, be prepared to go back to Dejima and go to the boat house to receive your ship, so you can explore more islands. We hope you enjoy your adventure and it serves you well in your development in understanding the Japanese language and culture. Blah 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 blah. Final note, every lesson is repeatable, and so you can really get to grips with the lesson points. We also have a Discord for learning. Okay. Locked. That's not helpful. Okay, so while I'm wandering around trying to figure out what to do, we got the bonus treasure ones. My Japanese isn't great, right, but oh, it's a random encounter. I was about to start talking about my Japanese skills. Attack, guard, skills, item escape. It's a slime. It's just turn-based combat. I think this is like RPG Maker or something. So not super good. I haven't actually played an RPG Maker game now I think about it. So not the most complicated thing in the world. Although, like, I do like the fact that it looks like a PS1 game. Like, the UI in general could use a lot more work. Because it's just round boxes, and it's like, for some reason, I just don't like round boxes. But, oh well. Dejima Inn. Couldn't they say Ryokan? Welcome to Dejima Wharf, the heartlands of Western trading. Please go to the International Embassy in Nagasaki. Welcome to the bar. Buy, sell, quit. Onigiri. Beer. Okay. Dolchu. Obento. Beer, shochu, obento. This is which I really forget the names of the. There are so many different organization systems that I can't actually remember which is called. Like this is the one with the letter U's. I think that's like early Hepburn. Or was it the other one? Wait. So, I've studied Japanese in school. I've studied in high school, I've studied in university, but the thing about learning a new language is that you really have got to have constant maintenance. So, on the one hand, you know, I was pretty good at Japanese when I was studying it, but when I stopped, you know, my vocabulary kind of dropped. And time goes on and you just forget the systems, right? So, and the reason why this game stuck out at me when I was just scrolling through the list of demos was that I've seen like a couple of Japanese learning games on Steam before. I haven't actually tried them. But this one stuck out at me because it had the word Romaji in it. And like one of the first things that you need to really drill into your head if you want to learn Japanese and progress onward from a beginner level is that you need to stay away from Romaji. Romaji is like it's kind of a mess. You know, there are so many different Romaji systems, and if you don't know what you're doing with Romaji, it's not going to help. And since you're a beginner, of course you're not going to know what to do with Romaji. Because like it's not actually gonna like help you with your pronunciation. You know, like some Romaji, like if the Romaji is designed correctly, it can help you with your pronunciation, but because that's kind of the purpose for Romaji, right? It's supposed to help you read the characters, but it's meant to be a stepping stone. Like you can't just rely on Romaji completely. I'm kind of trying to see if there's even any kind of... Is there anything here which shows you Romaji? Like, what am I supposed to do? I assume that I'm just supposed to find a battle and learn a word. Would you like to exit the demo? No. Okay. Every building is locked. And I'm stuck at this slow walking speed. Roadmap will be in the next demo version. Good day, nice to meet you. I speak some English. Hajimemashite. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Konnichi. H in brackets? I haven't seen that in any Romaji system yet. Before. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Okay. Hajimemashite. Right, hajimemashite. I'm very impressed you were going Japanese. Here, take this. You got shochu. Is there anything else you want to say? No. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Did you know that the pronunciation of ha is actually wa in some cases? I mean, it's nice that they do include some hiragana. It is wrote as brackets high at the start of the game, and as you progress it will no longer be stated with brackets. Also, what is actually or? Just thought that was worth mentioning. This is basic stuff. I mean, it's not gonna help me. So this doesn't actually explain why the pronunciation is different, and that's one of the issues with Romaji. It's like it does not actually convey. Like it says that they're using the brackets to try to still convey it in Romaji, but like one of the reasons for Romaji is to try to use it as a pronunciation aid. So you would actually write it as WA if you're trying to write it down as Romaji. At least that's what I would do anyway. But trying to back translate Romaji back into hiragana, it doesn't work out as a result. So I guess like putting it in brackets like that is a thing, but removing the brackets at some point in the future, Also, war being actually or, I think that's more of like an accent thing. So, important. Sut is used to emphasize that the next letter is pronounced twice. The reason for including sut in the game is to prepare you for spelling kana. Ketson. Example, ketsukon, keton. Satsushi, zashi. Nikki, nitsuki. When you learn kana, this will be very useful. As in, the writing of small words, a small tsu is used. Nice to meet you. I'm the British Embassy representative. I've been constantly giving you your first lesson in. Ready? Hi. Let's begin. Hajimemashite. How do you do? Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Treat me kindly. Go talk to the Nihojin over there. Nihojin. Nihojin? Nihojin? What's the... where's that? I am the international representative of Portugal. Trading history, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. That was a typo there in the word written. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. I have 5 brief lesson notes for you on the way to say the words. Might I add, it will be useful to check out the hiragana, hira, not hiri, hiragana, and katakana. Even if you don't want to learn them all now, it's useful to understand how the consonants and vowels work. Okay. Oh, there's something on devoicing. That's something that's usually not covered in. I don't remember that actually ever being covered in my Japanese classes like that. Devoicing. On this end of sut can have a very small emphasis in words such as des. So, actually, calling it devoicing is a bit tactical, but that example there, yeah. So that's something to do with like achieving fluency when speaking. It's like the whole some vowels are required or left out, especially at the end of sentences. Like going back to like this default voicing text again. It's essentially like it's the end of a sentence as well. Well, in some cases it's a word, but in some cases it's the end of a sentence. But it's essentially just smoothness of speaking. When you speak quickly enough, some sounds are devoiced, so to speak. Also, I should really I really want to go back to this menu. Contracted sound. What does this mean? Small hiragana letters after the big one indicates a contracted sound. For example, hya, hi, and ya. Long vowels. Sometimes you have to stretch the consonant or vowel, there's often U or an I after a syllable. That's U and E that indicates the long vowel. Blah, blah, blah. Pronunciation on or E in brackets? What? It's more like a voiceless sound, like a humming, like when you I wouldn't really put an N there. Pronunciation of tsu. Look out for tsu in the middle of words. It is often smaller than the rest and means you have to repeat the first letter that comes after it. So this is pretty much first semester Japanese. And that's it. And even then, like trying to get away from Romaji as quickly as possible is really ideal. I guess I need to find other open doors. Oh wow, the house is empty. Okay, never mind. It looks like there's nothing else. It's just a small room of them talking about the basics of reading Romaji. Oh, I bet the next town over was Nagasaki. So like this is Dejima. Dejima. Yeah, that's Nagasaki. Okay, the game didn't tell me this was Nagasaki. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, so first thing, okay, so I think that's it. That's the whole demo. It's just... I don't know, where's the quit button? Let's try pressing escape. Okay, I'll just go into windowed mode and close the window. Okay, so that was like that was really little. Did I seriously spend this much time on it? Okay, cool. So I think this is really more of an opportunity for me to talk about Romaji myself rather than commenting on the game. I like the idea of using a game to try to get people to study Japanese. Like I've experienced a few, and the way they do it in different ways depending on just what your Japanese level is. And Romaji is like this is something that would be for absolute beginners. So like when you're in your first semester of Japanese, and that's kind of it. Not much beyond that, because by that point you should not be using Romaji. Like you need to get on Kana as soon as possible, and ideally you would be using Kana by your second semester and stop using Romaji, period. This is clearly just a very early prototype of them trying to like convey the game into 3D, because the original game was in like 2D or something. I remember seeing it on the Steam page somewhere. Um, and like I really like the art style for some reason. Like that's really pretty much why it stood out to me. But yeah, this is like, I mean, like I'm don't take this checklist seriously because this is one of those cases where it's I think the demo itself is not in a ready state. It's just trying to just convey the basics of the game. Um, but this was like really nothing. Um, so I'm very neutral on this at the moment. Like it's like I don't like I'm not going to be negative about it. I'm just going to say like this isn't ready for more people to like it isn't really ready for the masses, so to speak. Like it's not really there to get people interested. Um, so like it's really just not in that state. Um, and there are a few different Romaji systems, right? There's Kunde-shiki, there's Burn, there's Nihon-shiki, there's the official government one, and each and every one of them have different purposes, right? Because the actual Japanese is in kana, and Romaji is using like the Roman alphabet to try to convey kana for a non-Japanese speaker. But there are so many ways to convey it into Romaji for different purposes, and I think, and that's kind of the reason why relying on Romaji is bad, because no, like a beginner is not going to know about that, right? Because um, like let's think of like the three different versions, right? At the very least, I can't remember which one is which at the moment off the top of my head. I just remember that it's Hepburn, Kunle, and Nihonshiki. Um, and Hepburn is the one that a lot of students use. I think Nihonshiki is the one that the government uses. Kunle Shiki, or is it the other way around? I think Kunle Shiki is the one that the government uses, and Nihonshiki is like an alternate one used for students. Hello, Epic. How are you? Um, but the thing about Romaji is the one that the government uses um, is meant to is not meant to be so okay, let me put it another way. There's when trying to convey it into Romaji, there's lots of different levels of accuracy that can be achieved. There's the accuracy of matching the letters to the kana. There's the accuracy of pronunciation, and there's also the accuracy of like the ability to back and forth translate. So one of the systems which was kind of used here in this demo was I think it was Kunneshiki. I think I really shouldn't be using those terms because I actually can't remember what they are. But essentially, oh dear, that's not good. So, like the Romaji system that's being shown in this game is an attempt at having a one-to-one kana and word relationship. So that was why it had the tsu in brackets. Like it was trying to have a one-to-one relationship from character to text. The problem with that though is that it actually does not help you with pronunciation. Like yes, you can convert Romaji directly into Japanese using that particular Romaji method, but for someone who does not have a Japanese study background, even a basic one, you cannot actually use that as a pronunciation aid. You can use that as a writing aid to convey the characters, but not as a pronunciation aid. The government one deliberately does not have a one-to-one match with the characters, but it helps an English speaker actually pronounce their names in a way that's similar to the Japanese pronunciation. So, like for example, Tokyo, like T-O-K. Why don't I have a random text box here to demonstrate? Like T-O-K-Y-O, like that's not a one-to-one relationship to the kana, but you're going to pronounce it properly in English. If you wanted to use the Hepburn method, it would be like Toukokyu, which is like tall kyo, which is really wrong. Um, or like the other method, which is Tookyoo. So like for native English speaker reading that, you're gonna pronounce it as 2Q, which is not correct. It like if you match the letters to the kana, like you can do that, but it's just yeah, it's complicated. I'm trying to sum up a really complicated set of 3 or 4 different systems here. Um, so I guess what I'm trying to say in summary is that don't think that this is going to be a magical solution to learning Japanese. Like if you want to use this as a learning aid, you can go ahead and do it, but you should really know what you're getting into when you try to use Romaji, because it's complicated as hell. So so let's press submit on that.